Okay, I'm just gonna post a weekly review. I usually backtest the previous week price action to see if I missed anything. Full disclosure, I did not take a trade this week. It was just my model just did not show up, and the reason I do these weekly recaps, weekly reviews through backtesting is to see maybe I missed something. I'm pretty good about seeing my model in real time, so I typically don't miss something that's too obvious. But maybe in hindsight, there was something that wasn't A plus, but A, B plus that maybe I could have taken light size on. We'll see. We'll find out through backtesting this last week's price action. So yeah, let's get right into it here. So let me just get to Monday. Okay, this is Monday, 9:15. Just gonna do top down on it. We'll start on the weekly because it's Monday. I don't usually start on the weekly unless it's a new week. But you see here we have this weekly fair value gap that we could trade back down into. Definitely could be a draw if we end up being bearish this week or into next week, right? I'm just giving you what I am thinking if I'm just looking at this price action, not knowing what I already know, because yes, this week did go by, but just simply looking at this and giving my outlook of what it would have been like live. On the daily, we are respecting this daily fair value gap, which is good. And we are just at all-time highs. So at the end of the day, we are bullish. It's that simple. So the daily is giving us nothing but bullishness. The 4 hour, you can see we disrespected a 4 hour fair value gap here and inversed it. So that's a bullish sign. We technically have a tiny, I wouldn't even consider this no, it's not. This might have been something on NQ. There might have been a fair value gap there, but it would have been very tiny. On MNQ, there's nothing there. So yes, bullish. Respecting bullish fair value gap here on the 4 hour, disrespecting bearish fair value gaps on the 4 hour. Same thing on the daily, right? So bullish on the 4 hour. So on Monday, it was extremely easy to form a bias. On the 1 hour, I'd be looking for us to retrace. This would be a pretty large retracement to the 1 hour, but it's possible, and I would look for a bounce from here. Again, the 1 hour had this fair value gap we disrespected. Good sign of bullishness. The 15-minute, we have this 15-minute fair value gap that's unfilled. Definitely think we'll tap into this. I think that's a no-brainer. Whether or not we bounce from there is a possibility. Another 15-minute here. I'm just marking up all the fair value gaps that I want to see us potentially trade into for a bounce. I need a retracement at this point because we're so overextended, and we're at all-time highs. And I'm only looking for buys because we're at all-time highs. So yeah. Let's skip ahead to 9:30. This is 9:30. You could see how we inversed this 15-minute bearish fair value gap. That's a sign that maybe we don't end up coming to this before taking this high. We might just shoot up straight to this high. Let's see. No, we did come down. And so right now we are within this 15-minute and this 15-minute. We haven't disrespected this 15-minute yet because the candle hasn't closed. Sweep on liquidity. So at this point, if I did get like, let's see, is there a fair value gap in the leg? The highest fair value gap in the leg is going to be, well, right now it'd be the 2 minute. It'd be this, which obviously is just not going to give us the RR we need because I'm looking for a minimum of 1-to-1. And I'd have to target all the way up here, which is just no man's land, which we could get to, but it's no man's land. And my break even would be this high. So it would just be way too close to entry. So we're still waiting. Yeah, the 3 minute now. Okay, so we did retrace all the way down to this 1 hour fair value gap. Could we bounce from here, right? This is what I'm looking at in real time. Like, I'm only looking for buys at this point because we're at all-time highs. Let's see, this is a 2 minute candle, so that hasn't closed yet. If this would have inversed, I potentially might have taken this because we got our inversion fair value gap. We have a sweep on liquidity. We have a 1 hour fair value gap being used as a place to bounce off of. And we have some decent targets. Like I'd just be targeting this internal high here. Oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, we did invert it. I'm gonna assume we don't come back to here, and that's why I didn't get an entry. Let me look at my stats here. I want to see. Did I even take a break? Oh, I did take a break even on Monday. This might have been that. Okay, this might have been that. So let's see. I'm gonna put a limit order here. Okay. We took this internal high that we made after entering, so this would be my break even. And yeah, there you go. Smacked me straight down break even after that. And let's see, was it a good break even? Well, it's a good break even because I followed my model, but would it have helped us from losing money, or oh, we're just ranging. And this is kind of typical for what price has been like, not just last week, but for a few weeks now. We've just gotten some pretty terrible price action during New York AM session. Like, it just hasn't been that great. So it did save us from a loss. That's good. But yeah, again, like if you look at the 5 minute here, just barcoded after, this is 9:30 open candle, and then we just barcoded until, 10:25 kind of took us out of that range a little bit, but we're still, like, it's just tough, right? Tough price action to be involved in at all-time highs, and then we're just chopping. It's not that ideal. I'm still, looking for a buy if I could get one. Like, we've swept again now, so the highest fair value gap in this leg, technically this is a new leg, the 1 minute, so we could use this as our fair value gap entry. This 5 minute, you could argue, is the more conservative entry, and you could argue it's still part of this leg, but to me, the 1 minute, this is its own leg here, so I don't mind this. Break even would be pretty close to entry. I'd just be targeting a 1-to-1. The target isn't the best because we're going to have to shoot through the 5 minute without any resistance. Otherwise, if we have some resistance, probably going to tap us break even. And our break even isn't that great because it's fairly close to entry. So this is just not the greatest trade. I think I remember this one. I want to be absolutely certain. I'm pretty sure I didn't take this because NQ did not inverse, and we inverse on MQ. If they both inverse, I'm gonna take this, and I'd be interested to know why I didn't take it in live time. But let's see. I just want to quickly check. I'm gonna check on TradingView here. I know you can't see my screen. I'm just gonna check really quickly. Let's see. Where are we here? Wait, it's 10:43 candle. No, we did inverse it on the. Okay, we did inverse on MQ, so I'll take this because it does follow my model. It's just another sweep now. Highest time frame, fair value gap in the leg, getting inverse, which is a 1 minute. Maybe I broke even twice on this day. Maybe that's what happened. I gotta look at my trade recap and see. I did upload a recap. Yeah, so tapped in there, break even. All right, once we take the internal high. I remember this one now. Yeah, it was just, it felt like it was very close to hitting my TP, and we did that. I don't even think we tapped. Oh, we did tap into the 5 minute, and that was my worry with this trade. Remember, I said the targets just weren't that great. If my target was a 1-to-1, if this was a 1-to-1 trade at the 5 minute, I would have been sitting real good. But because it wasn't, and I had to target a little bit higher, the 5 minute acted as resistance, which I feared it would, and it tapped us break even. So that was the trading day on Tuesday, or on Monday, excuse me. I really don't think there was anything after that to be had. We're just in this range here. Like if we're looking for buys and we start to go higher, then I'm looking for us to tap into a 5 minute fair value gap to then continue for a continuation trade. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't the greatest. Yeah. So based on my model today, I would have broke even twice. Which honestly, in price action like this, where it's just not the greatest, we're ranging most of the AM session, it's good to know that my model's helping me protect my capital, but still giving me the chance to potentially make some money. So that is that. Okay, so let's get to Tuesday. See what Tuesday has in store. Again, not going to use the weekly because we know what the weekly is at this point. And it's Tuesday, so I'll go top down from the daily. You can see we already took the previous daily high, which a lot of times I'll want to target if I'm bullish. Previous daily low has a devil's mark. Oh, did not mean to do that. Has a devil's mark, which means there's literally no wick down here. So very, makes it a little bit more likely that we could use it as a draw. So the PDH is there. Although for me, like I can't be bearish here. I just simply can't. We're at all-time highs and we keep pumping. Like it's low probability, even though we left that devil's mark there and we already took previous daily high. 4 hour, we are just respecting those 4 hour fair value gaps that we made on the way up. So these are all filled. So if we're going to go lower, it's not to come into these because we already used them. So if we do end up making a leg lower here, it's more indication that we'll probably continue to previous daily low because we don't need to come into these. On the 1 hour, we made we did not actually. And this isn't formed yet, but we are disrespecting 1 hour bearish fair value gaps, but we have no bullish fair value gaps to tap into or respect. So that's that. Right, because I'm looking for something at this point we need to retrace. I'm looking for something that we could retrace to, just like I was Monday. Monday had some areas we could retrace to. On the 4 hour and 1 hour, there's nothing here yet. On the 15 minute, there is though. 15 minute, we have this 15 minute fair value gap. We have this 15 minute fair value gap. All things that we could retrace to. And again, I'm bullish because 1, we're at all-time highs. 2, we are clearly respecting bullish PD arrays, bullish fair value gaps, right? On the way up, and we are at the same time disrespecting bearish fair value gaps. If we wanted to be bearish, we would be respecting these fair value gaps. So that is, now granted, we're overextended at this point and already took the previous daily high. So we might see lower prices, but I can't, there's nothing I could do to predict that. I'm only going based off of what I see. So let's go to the 15 minute. Okay, we traded back into here. This is 9:30 open, right about to start. I'll mark this up just because this is all-time high. Can we see something from here? I mean, the highest fair value gap in the leg is a 5 minutes, so that makes it extremely difficult to long up to here. So yeah, that's impossible. Okay, traded back into this candle. Oh, okay. And yeah, at this point, it's making it very tough because we are respecting a 15 minute. We're respecting 15-minute bullish. We're respecting 5-minute bearish. And it's just like not the greatest candle, right? Like yeah. So, we can't long because we already tapped into this 5-minute, which at the very least would have been a break even if I was able to find like a 1-minute to get in off of to target higher. And we can't short because obviously we're at all-time highs and we're respecting a 15-minute, so we're just waiting here. There's nothing I can do. I would need to see us break above here and then look for continuations for long, and that's really the only setup I can get. Unless we started disrespecting some 15-minute fair value gaps, and maybe I'd consider a short, but it would be low-hanging fruit short, and I really wouldn't be looking to hold for too long. But look at the candles we're getting, right? It's still early on in the AM session. These are 5-minute candles, but the price action just isn't all that great, right? Another range, another candle like that. It's 10 o'clock now, so we've been open for a half hour, and we're just kind of ranging. We're sitting in the same spot. All the move happened overnight, or I shouldn't say overnight, AM session, or pre-market session. Yeah, so we're still just ranging at this point. Let's look at the 5-minute. So the 5-minute's finally trading lower, and yeah, still respecting this 15-minute fair value gap. We do still have that 15-minute below. Let's look at the 1 hour, because the 1 hour has formed a new fair value gap here on the 1 hour, so that's something that we are bouncing off and respecting now. I'll move that down. So, that's more indication that we could bounce from here. And I would like to see something of that nature. 10:03, so this candle isn't even nearly close. All right, the 2-minute did the 1 minute. Well, the 2-minute became I think the 2-minute suffices here because the 1 minute is like that, or the 3 minutes like that. So I could take the 2-minute. The 3-minute fair value gap is just so small that I would be willing to take the 2-minute, even though it's technically at the highest time frame or fair value gap in the leg. Right, target just that high there for a little over 1-to-1. Break even would be, maybe at this internal high. I don't know. I try to not use an internal high that's on a lower time frame than the time frame I'm entering, but there's nothing else to really break even off of. So this would be my trade. Oh wait, I didn't wait for this candle to close. Never mind. This would not have been an entry. I didn't see that it didn't close. And the 2-minute is something I definitely would have wanted to wait for because that is a nice, solid fair value gap to inverse. Now we did. Yeah, right? No, now we did. Now here is where maybe a market order would come into play and we could target, a little bit above all-time high. This would be break even up right here. I'm not willing to do that. So I'm looking for this limit order to get filled still. So limit order got filled. I'll tell you the reason I wasn't in this. So the reason I was able to avoid this trade was because I did go like in live time. The reason I'll take this in back testing is because technically it was following my model, and I'm just trying to see how my model would have played out, throughout the week, simply by just taking it whenever I see it. The reason I didn't take this on Tuesday was because it had just came too high and too close to my TP and taken technically what I would have liked to see be my break even too quickly. So that's why I didn't take this trade. But for the sake of the model and the fact that this is a valid setup still, because that was a 1 minute internal high that we were going to break even at, and I'm not going to break even at a 1 minute internal high unless I'm taking a 1 minute fair value gap that we're inversing, and I wasn't. I was taking a 2 minute. So technically, but I used my best discretion here live trading this and decided not to enter and be a little bit more cautious just because of how we've been trading, and it ended up playing out. So you kind of have to understand like what price has been doing recently, and should I be taking a riskier setup. I wouldn't consider this A plus even anymore. I'd consider this maybe an A setup. And really, when I see price action do this, act the same way it acted yesterday and the previous week, and I just know that we'll probably chop, I want to avoid anything but A plus setups. So that's why I didn't take this in live trading, right? You can see I didn't take it live trading, right? So that's the reason. But my model did appear here, so that's fine. I'll take it on the chin in backtesting because I'm literally just trying to enter whenever I see my model in backtesting and kind of cut out all the extra noise of like, oh, maybe price isn't all that great. It doesn't matter for backtesting purposes. I just want to see how my model would have played out this week. So that is a trade that I didn't take but could have. And let's continue. I'm still looking for buys. We haven't inversed this 15 minute yet. 1 minute, obviously, we haven't closed yet. The 4 minute is the highest time frame for value gap in the leg, so we didn't get that inverse, and we continue to respect it. So we're in this 15 minute now. Could we get something here? Highest time frame for value gap would be the 2 minute right now. Now it would be the 3. Nothing. And yeah, that's kind of what ends up happening here. I think we just keep chopping on. Yeah. And again, I wasn't looking for lower prices, so just based off my bias. So I wasn't looking for shorts here. Now that we disrespected all those fair value gaps, and these have already been filled, so we shouldn't really bounce off them. Maybe there's a continuation short to take here. Never mind. And you see, because all those 4 hour, like these 4 hours have already been filled, you see how quickly we're dropping because there's really no resistance. Tapped into this 5 minute for a potential continuation. Nothing though on the lower time frame to get an inversion. And we continue lower. So even if I wanted to short, it wouldn't have been available to me there. And we hit PDH, so at that point all targets have been hit and no trade. Next day, this is Wednesday. You can see kind of what price action has given us all week is just chop, right? We're in a very tight range right now. And still not showing too much bearishness. We haven't disrespected this daily fair value gap yet. We're still respecting it. The 4 hour, technically, yeah. I mean, even though these were already filled, it did disrespect them by inversing them with this leg down. And we're inside of it, this bearish 4 hour now. So something to take into account. I just want to mark up the previous daily high. I forgot to do that. It's always a potential target at all-time highs if I'm bullish, which I am at all-time highs, and then obviously previous daily low could be a target here because we are just in a range at this point, and we're respecting a 4 hour fair value gap. So bias is a little bit tougher to gauge here today. You could just go with the good old, we're at all-time highs, so I'm going to be bullish and I don't want to short at all. But take all-time highs out of it, out of the question, then it becomes, okay, well, we might be a little bit more bearish because we're respecting a 4 hour bearish fair value gap right now. We inversed 4-hour bullish fair value gaps. We have some nice low resistance liquidity here that we could come for easily. Previous daily low hasn't been hit yet. So a lot of factors that are making this look somewhat bearish. I'd want to sweep though. You know, realistically, I'd love to see us come into this 15-minute. If I'm gonna be bearish, I wouldn't want to see us just fall here. So we did come into the 15-minute. And now let's see what we get. If we're going to be bullish, we're going to continue to this 1 hour, and we will respect this 5-minute here. So this is the condition. Are we going to close and inverse this 5-minute, or are we going to respect it and continue higher? If we inverse it, I'll look for shorts. Okay. And we just pump higher without ever coming back into this 5-minute. So the condition was never even in question. Traded all the way up to this 1 hour. That was our bullish target. Of course, we can continue looking for buys to the all-time high. I wouldn't mind that. Might see some rejection off the 1 hour here, which could help us retrace to a 15 or a 5-minute fair value gap for a buy. Okay, we're retracing to a 5-minute. There's a 15-minute below, so let's see what the 5-minute has in store for us. There's a 2-minute fair value gap. It's the highest fair value gap in the leg. So this is a valid setup for us, although it is a bit premium. Not sure what I was looking at here in real time, if I took this or not. It's a valid setup for us though, even though yes, it is premium. So not A+, I'd give it an A. It's the highest time frame fair value gap in the leg. We're using a 5-minute fair value gap as a reason to go higher. We're sweeping some liquidity. You know, you could take this as a market order. It'd be, you know, tough to get decent RR on it doing so, but so we took this. There's a reason I didn't take this. We took this internal high here before getting an entry. I don't even know if we do get an entry. We might, judging by how this candle closed. But because we took this internal high, that was my break even before entry. I can't enter now. And so yeah, we're just chopping around now. But yeah, it's looking like we'll probably go to my TP. Or not. See, good break even, or good no trade, I should say. Let's see, there is technically a sliver of a fair value gap here, but we'll probably continue lower, especially this is a devil's mark. I remember this from Wednesday now. I wanted to see it come into here and then bounce. We got our bounce. I don't know what's looks like. I mean, yeah, the 4-minute, but the 4-minute's so small. The 2-minute works here. So this would be my entry. Right, we're sweeping liquidity using inversion fair value gap for entry. 15-minute taken. And honestly, just go for some low-hanging fruit here, 1-to-1. And there's a 2-minute fair value gap in this leg that could act as, you know, a nice draw. So that is my entry. And we just don't get filled. I would have had to enter with a market order. I'm fairly certain I was looking to enter here and had my limit ready to go. We just didn't trigger it. Had I entered with a market order, it would have been tough to get that 1-to-1. Let's see. We might have continued and got it, but again, yeah. So market order would have worked here. was looking for that limit order because I liked my draw on liquidity being that 2 minute fair value gap within that leg. So yeah, that is that. I doubt we'll get another setup here. It's past 11 a.m. at this point. At this point, I would need like a 5 minute continuation. Like you have to, do exactly that. It'd have to come to here, right? And give me that, to be honest with you. These highs as a target. This is my break even though, so it's a bit riskier, I'd say. I don't love this as much, but okay. Oh, look at that. This is a trade I missed. All right. Yeah, we'll take that. This was a setup that I could have taken. I mean, this is a valid setup, and it would have given me no drawdown and would have tapped me out in 4 minutes or less. That was a great trade. Reason for this trade again was, well, we didn't miss it. We were ready for it, but it didn't give us the entry off the initial 15 minute. And so I'm looking for a continuation at that point because we haven't taken these highs yet, and we're just kind of wicking them, creating more resistance here. And so you see 5 minute we tapped into, cool, that's my higher time frame fair value gap. 2 minute is the highest fair value gap in the leg that we inversed. This is my break even. We didn't tap it yet, so I could keep my limit here. Get tapped with the limit barely. This would have been an amazing trade to be a part of, like 0 emotional damage or anything, like just straight to TP, no drawdown. So yeah, that's a solid trade. 1 to 2 as well. Get RR. So that is one I missed. I'd say the only downside to that was the fact that it was fairly late in the AM session, right? Like almost 11:30. We're obviously in a premium here. So those would have been the reasons that I didn't take it. I might have been off the charts at this point. But I'd say anything before 11:30 is fair game. So this is something I definitely missed. I missed it. Regardless of if I was actively at the charts or had I already left because I felt like I missed the move or whatever, this is a trade that I could have taken. So let's go to the next day, Thursday. So Thursday, you see, already took previous daily high. Only thing to mark up then on the daily is the previous daily low. Obviously, we're bullish. That can change, obviously, but at the same time, I can't predict that. We are going and keep hitting new all-time highs every day. So I'm not going to be bearish. Like, some people are perma-bears, and that's fine, but they're idiots. They've sat sidelined or continued to lose money. I don't know. All-time highs, we'll just mark it. Inside a 4-hour fair value gap, of course, there are some more fair value gaps within this leg that are deeper retracements that we could definitely come for, or not, because again, we're at all-time highs. We might not even need that deep of a retracement, just continue. We've had our accumulation here overnight, so there's that. And yeah, let's see what, I'm okay to long here. Yes, we're in a premium, but at this point, I could long from here. I wouldn't mind it because of the fact that we're at all-time highs. So we don't need to fully retrace, and we don't usually get that full, 50% retracement in conditions like these. But obviously, you can see I need it to give us something. Like, are we gonna sweep these lows? Are we gonna sweep these highs? Like, what are we doing? I'm fine for continuation trade to all-time highs, but you have to give me that. I can't. There's nothing I can do with what I'm looking at right now. This is the 15-minute time frame. It looks disgusting. Okay, so we're sweeping some lows. Obviously, still within that 4-hour. And we kept these highs intact, which is good to see if you want long. A 5 minutes gonna form. This is the highest time frame for value gap in the leg. Obviously, our RR would be horrible at this point because we continued lower. We tapped into the new 4 hour for value gap. This would be a good place to maybe long 2 now. Be a good draw if we get like a 3 minute is the next highest. And 4 minute. Okay. Yeah, good place to long 2. I don't know. The RR is going to be pretty terrible. Okay, this would have to be a break even point and then target the highs. Oh, okay. Let me go back in time here. This is twice now that I've done that accidentally. We did not actually inverse that. So I wouldn't have entered, and I remember this now because that candle was ridiculous. I commented in the Discord and I'm like, seriously, it's the candle? Okay, cool. But yeah, clearly this was a nice draw because we reacted really strongly off of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm still looking for bias. Targets aren't as great anymore, just these equal highs above. Resweep, can we get? So the only thing we have on this resweep is a 1 minute. And now we're kind of chopping, which makes it less appetizing. Yeah, not all that great. Looks like we're going to continue to dump here. And yeah, you know, you don't want to short really because we're at all-time highs and we're tapping into higher time frame bullish fair value gaps, 4 hour, 1 hour. Well, technically not 1 hour, I guess yet, but 4 hour. And you don't want to long it, or you can't long it because it's not giving you anything. So, but yeah, shorting here is tough. Longest fair value gap in this leg is a 5 minute. We do end up inversing it actually. Right, yeah, we do. RR is gonna be pretty awful though. You know, if there was a 15 minute to long 2. Oh, I remember this now. Yeah, look, we opened up a new 15 minute, so this would be invalid. And if I recall, we racked pretty nicely off that 15 minutes, so that would have been bad had we been in a long. And it's 11:30, so that was it for Thursday. Nothing to take. This is just another week where you had to be very patient. We had to wait very patiently. I recall Friday because it was the most recent day that I traded. Another day I didn't take a trade, and just another kind of shitty price action day where the model didn't really show up. So it looks like the best I could have done would have been had I just followed my model to a T, was at the chart every second, no distractions from 9:30 to 11:30. I would have been up a percent on the week, which is good, which is really good, especially for a week like this week. But we'll go through Friday and see. But I don't think I'll be taking a trade, but maybe I'll get surprised. I didn't think I was going to take that Wednesday trade. So previous daily high, previous daily low. Still within higher time frame bullish 4 hour fair value gaps, and we're not respecting any bearish fair value gaps that would make me want to go short. So, or bullish. Disrespected a 1 hour bearish fair value gap. Respecting a 1 hour bullish fair value gap. More reason to want to long. I'd say some decent liquidity resting here as well. So, you know, ideally we inverse this without taking this high, but that's a lot to ask for, because then I might be able to find an entry. But again, a lot to ask for. And we do just push straight through. Nothing I could have entered off of. Yeah, nothing we could have entered off of. Just pumped really quickly. We still have all-time highs, which could be a target for us if we want to. If we could potentially get a continuation trade off of a 5 minute. Right, you see here, 5 minute. Could we see something from here? Looks like I haven't disrespected it yet. Highest fair value gap in the leg is a 4 minute, and I'm pretty sure we disrespected the 5. We did. So this becomes invalid. Okay, it's a nice sweep. Respecting a 15 minute, that's good. So like we'd love to see the 1 minute get inversed here. It doesn't give it to us. And so, you know, I mean, if we're gonna be short here, 15 minute needs to get inversed, and you know, maybe we can take something to here on the lower time frame. But the new 15 minute literally just opened up, so it's gonna be probably not happen. 15 minutes still getting respected actually, which is nice to see for longs. Yeah, 4 minute is the okay. As you can see, this would have been our break even here, and our entry would have been, of course, well, we needed to see inverse, so we inversed and hit my break even with the same candles, so this is untradeable. And I mean, look at the price action. It's just it's not that great, dude. It really isn't giving us too much. It's just another, like, how many times am I gonna say in this weekly recap? Look at the AM session where literally we're just ranging, and yes, this happened multiple times where we had this big push in one direction where there was just no ability to get an entry. The model wasn't there yet, obviously, because it's literally just pushing randomly, and upon open. And then after the push, you just have this. And then this was when Trump tweeted, I think, about tariffs. Right, decided to open his big orange mouth, and here we are. I mean, nothing, I can't predict Trump speaking, or tweeting, I should say, and the market dropping, you know, however many points. So that was out of the question to short that. I wasn't really, you know, perhaps had we have, I might have been able to just catch this. Like, if my model appeared for a short and we had inverse this 15 minute prior to this giant candle down, I might have been able to catch that move just simply based off being involved with a trade with my model, and that would have been me, quote unquote, predicting Trump's tweet. But it gave us nothing, right? We hadn't inversed this 15 minute yet, so how could it possibly be bearish at all-time highs when we're respecting 15 minutes? So that was that. And then we just continue to dump the rest of the AM session here. You know, is there a continuation trade to be had? We did come into here and slightly tapped this 5 minutes, and maybe there was something. You could have taken this. Well, you wouldn't have gotten an entry unless you placed a market order, and at that point your RR would have been terrible, so this wouldn't have worked, right? It would have been a perfect 1-to-1 RR had you gotten the retest of the inversion, but we didn't get that, and that was that. So that was the trading day for Friday. Again, nothing that I saw. So Wednesday gave us a setup actually that we missed, and I also took a loss that I missed, but the win was a 1-to-2, so that obviously helped make the week look decent. But yeah, that was the weekly recap. Hopefully next week and weeks going forward are better than what we've seen, because more recently here it's been tough, man. Like I'm happy with how I've traded because I'm preserving my capital. Um, I'm not being scared to enter into anything. Obviously, like I said, I missed that trade on Wednesday. I think I just left the charts. Um, but obviously I'm not. I'm entering trades. They're just hitting my break even, which is a sign of my model doing well, because you saw most of those ones that I broke even on, if not all of them, would have been losses. So yeah, that's again. Let's just hope for better price action. You saw how much we were ranging on numerous days, and that's just not great conditions. And then of course we have Trump just tweeting randomly and crashing the market, which is fine, honestly, because we're at all time highs. That being at all time highs combined with choppy price action is just not great conditions. So that was a much needed pullback, in my opinion. Whether or not it was artificial, which the market is. So don't even get me started on that. We definitely are not in a free and fair market, which is fine, I guess. But before I go off on a tangent, that was the weekly recap. Um, yeah, let me know in the comments if your model ended up allowing you to take any winning trades this week, or how your model played out for you. This was how my model played out for me. And obviously I'm not going to stray away from my model, so this is how my week ended up being, or the best it could have been, which would have been plus 1%. We ended up breaking even on the week. But yeah,